Time to talk about some books that would make some killer video games. What's up, beasties? It's it's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. We are going to have a fun time today. We're going to talk about some books that I think would make awesome video games, hence why I'm wearing my PlayStation t-shirt. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, it will. I love video games. I don't get to play them as much as I used to, obviously, being older, having kids, working, busy with so many things, and I don't like it to cut into my reading time too much. Plus, my son is in video games now, so I don't get a chance to play very often. But still, I wanted to make a list of 10 books that I thought would make fantastic video games, and I'll tell you what type of video game and how I see it working out. So, if you haven't yet, grab yourself a snack, maybe a thirst-quenching refreshment, such as, once again, Cherry Dr. Pepper, zero sugar. Sit back, relax, and enjoy my list of 10 books that I think would make a fantastic video game. So, quick honorable mentions. Obviously, there's some that would make awesome games. Everyone knows that. We got Mistborn, Stormlight Archive, Brandon Sanderson's books. They would make fantastic games. Everybody's talked about that. I hope it happens someday. It would be super cool. Using Mistborn powers, playing as a character in Stormlight Archive world would be fantastic. But I'm going to try to talk about some books that you've heard of, but that no one has talked about how they would make sweet video games as of yet. So, here we go. And I actually think I have 11. Might as well say 12. We're going to start with this one. Tomorrow's Children by Daniel Polanski. Maybe you haven't heard of this book. I did do a book review on it. It was a lot of fun, and I think this would make a very cool video game. You've got a post-apocalyptic New York City, Manhattan. There's a gas over top the city that if you breathe it in, you die a gruesome, hideous death. And basically, it's centuries after that, decades, centuries after that, has happened, and civilization in Manhattan has decayed to these factions of young people. They've created their own language based on like text emojis and stuff. And there's people that have been transformed, and they have some different powers, and it's very cool. I could see this being an awesome game. You could have create your own character, create your own power, and pick which faction you belong to, kind of like Cyberpunk, where you have different storylines for each faction depending on how it goes. I could also see this being a game kind of like the old Command and Conquer, where you control a whole army and build a base, and you go and you fight the other ones. Like, that would be pretty sick. So, number 12, Tomorrow's Children would be cool. Number 11, Harbinger of Justice by Andrew Watson. Self-pub book by a fellow booktuber. This would make a sweet video game with shadow magic. If you could have this shadow magic that you could use to fight, you could use to creep around corners and check things out, it would be so cool. Plus, it's set in a like Aladdin-like world, desert, fantasy world. Oh my gosh, that would be so cool. That would be awesome. Number 10, Empire of Silence. I love the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor games. Think about Sun Eater being like that. Hadrian Marlowe with his light sword, going on his journey, would be so cool. Fighting in the Colosseum as like a gladiator, all the political stuff. This could be a sweet game if you played as Hadrian Marlowe, with the backstory and the future timeline, fighting Cielsons, aliens, and oh my gosh, this would be a sick game, wouldn't it? So yeah, I could see this being a very cool game in that single player story mode, just sweet, epic story game like that. This would be awesome. Book I just read that was very good. Book of Elsewhere. The main character, B, super strength, immortal, goes on missions. This could be a very fun, gory, violent game. I think of it as being kind of like Hulk, being like that, but just with like super strength, and yeah, just some of the cool backstory and politicalness of him working for the government, going on these missions. It would be really cool and really fun. And his eyes turn blue and he turns into this berserker. He can't control himself. And as part of the game, you could have to not kill any friendly fire, any of the soldiers with you, and that would be pretty sweet. It would be fun. This would make a very cool game. One that people might not think about is Trader's Blade, the Great Coats, but I think that would make a sweet game in that setting, roaming the countryside, swashbuckling with swords. Kind of your group has fallen out of favor, and everyone looks down on you. It's not safe for you to go anywhere. You're trying to protect people and keep your honor and stuff. Like, I think that would be such a cool game, such a cool story, because the books are a cool story, but just the mechanics of fighting with a sword, I think that would be sweet. I would love a Great Coats game. I think it would be very, very cool. Again, single player story, or co-op, because you gotta love the trio in this. Very Three Musketeers, so that would be very cool. A single player or co-op story would be awesome. All right, next up we got, Empire the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. Ooh, this would be a sick game. I see this being like a Souls-like game, like Bloodborne, mixed with The Witcher. Like that would be sweet. But actually, the next one I have is more like The Witcher, I think. Well, mixed with something else. But anyway, it would be so cool to be able to play as a Silver Saint, and fight these hordes of terrifying vampires. It would be so cool. This would be an awesome game. I would love it. I would love it. Very dark. You'd have some cool powers and abilities, and man, it would be sweet. The big sweeping saga of a story. Saga. These are just books, but if graphic novels, Saga would be a sweet game too. Anyway, this would be an awesome game. And you'd have to find ways. As a Silver Saint, you could consume the blood of the vampires you killed, and that would be sweet. That would be awesome. So this would make an awesome game. I would love it. Justice of Kings would also make an awesome game. I think it could be like The Witcher, but also mixed with like a Sherlock Holmes game where you had to get dispatched to murders and crimes, and you could investigate them like a Sherlock Holmes game, but then you would have some powers and roaming the countryside and the world like Witcher. But then you also are the judge, jury, and executioner, so you could try to handle things the right way and have the verdict and the sentence carried out in the right way to not lose favor with like the people, and depending on how you did things, they could see you as evil or good. Ooh, that would be a sweet game. I would definitely sign up for that. This would make an awesome game. All right. Whoa. Simmer down. I think Dresden Files would make a sweet game, playing as Harry or creating your own wizard and being a part of this world and picking through the different factions. You could have different multiple starting points like Cyberpunk 2077. But that would be sweet. Very cool to create your own wizard and live in this world, or just to play as Harry Dresden and have all the cast of characters from the books Um, that'd be cool. That'd be sweet. Yes, it would. Um, Red Rising, I think, could make a sweet game, a lot like the Star Wars games I talked about earlier, where you could play as Darrow and go through the story and the saga. You could also have some space battles in there. You could have some. You could be thrown into the middle of the war. You could fight hand-to-hand combat, or wearing the big armored suits would be sweet. The politics and stuff, the vast scope of the war, like this could make a sweet game. I think Red Rising would be incredible as a game. The Blade itself, First Law World, is ripe for an awesome game. Yeah, it would be so cool. So cool. You could decide which kingdom you wanted to be a part of. If you wanted to be more of like a regular type of soldier or king character. If you wanted to be a Northman. If you wanted to be like someone with a little magic. It would just be, there'd be so many things you could do. It would be so awesome. Very much like... what's the Dragon's Dogma, like that, but more grim and dark and gory, like First Law is. But that's what I think of, like that kind of like a setup and game. Oh, that would be so sweet, very fun. X-Heroes, superheroes versus zombies. Need I say more? That would be sweet. You could create your own superhero, be a part of the superhero team. That's protecting humans surrounded by zombies, and that would be really cool. Having to go out into the zombies and forage, find food and supplies, and keep the people that you're protecting safe and make sure they make it back. Like, oh, that would be a fun game. That would be awesome. I would dig that. And finally, I think Orphan X could make a very fun series. You could even throw Repairman Jack on here. That would be cool too. You can have that supernatural horror twist. But if you didn't want that, I've got a lot of fantasy horror games already. You could just do a very cool game with Orphan X where you you're living his normal life and you get a phone call and you get a person that you have to help, and you have to be a detective to figure things out. You have to fight vigilante style. You could have some tech stuff, so it could be very like Siphon Filter-ish or Spec Ops. What's that? Tom Clancy's. It could be kind of like that, but also mixed with like a little GTA. Yeah, it'd be pretty sweet. 007, but more gritty and grounded. I think this Orphan X could make a sweet game. I think it would be very cool. So yeah, that was a bunch of books that I think would make awesome video games. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow, and it helps you to know when I have more videos come out, so you can come back here and hang out again. Please leave me a comment. I love comments. Let me know what games you think would make video games. Let me know if you agree with me on these. Or just say hello, because I love that too. But that's all I got for you today, beasties. So until I see you in the next video, devour those TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see ya.